Think of Greek food, and you likely see a tourist taverna, a flaming block of cheese, a spinning cone of meat, or perhaps a sunny, sanitized wellness brand. These recipes survived 4 millennia of imperial conquests, poverty, and demographic catastrophe. A Greek plate is a living archaeological record, mapping exactly how a people survived when the world collapsed around them. This record begins 4,000 years ago, far from the modern resort strip. This is the longest unbroken culinary record in Western civilization. The foundation sits in the ruins of Bronze Age Crete. 3 native crops emerged here to define the region: the olive, the grain, and the vine. This geography dictated early survival. The rocky Aegean terrain couldn't support massive herds of cattle, forcing a heavy reliance on foraged plants, pulses, and the sheep and goats that could graze on steep slopes. During the Byzantine era, the Orthodox Church installed the modern diet's true structural engine, a religious law known as Nistia. This liturgical calendar mandates over 180 fasting days a year. During these periods, meat, dairy, and eggs are forbidden. To survive half the year without animal fat, cooks developed ladera, vegetables slow-braised in a volume of olive oil that dwarfs their neighbors. The plant-forward habits now labeled the Mediterranean diet grew out of this medieval religious compliance. After the fall of Byzantium, the landscape split into 2 imperial territories. The Venetians took the western Ionian Islands, while the Ottomans controlled the mainland and the Aegean. In the Ionian Islands, the Venetians introduced complex baking spices, thick, hearty pastas, and early concepts of bechamel sauce. Across the mainland, 4 centuries of Ottoman rule standardized the use of phyllo dough, syrupy sweets, and the ritual of coffee. These Ottoman trade routes functioned as a conduit for the Columbian exchange, bringing New World crops like tomatoes and potatoes into the village kitchen. Through centuries of foreign rule, the Greek kitchen maintained its identity by anchoring every meal in native olive oil and wine, rejecting the butter of its conquerors. In September 1922, the burning of Smyrna signaled the end of the Old World. The 1923 population exchange forcibly relocated 1.2 million Greek Orthodox refugees out of Anatolia and onto the mainland. They brought a sophisticated, spice-heavy Eastern style of cooking that doubled the size of Athens and permanently altered the urban palate. Middle-class nationalists pushed back. In the 1920s, a French-trained chef named Nikolaos Tselementes began a project to Europeanize the country's food. Tselementes viewed the Eastern and Ottoman influence as a contamination and worked to purge it from the Greek menu. He mandated the addition of thick French bechamel sauce to traditional recipes, covering the Eastern spices with a Western veneer. The ancient moussaka, found in modern tourist zones, is a result of this 1920s project, a dish redesigned to hide its own Eastern roots. The sovereign debt crisis of the 2010s forced another cultural pivot. The economic shock triggered a widespread rejection of the Frenchified Tselementes era. Greeks began looking back to the regional, peasant frugality they had previously abandoned. This return to regional survival, the renewed prestige of ancient legumes and the foraging of wild greens, is now a point of national pride. Today, the complex Anatolian spices the nationalists tried to bury anchor the menus of the country's most respected urban kitchens. Sitting down to a Greek meal is an engagement with a 4,000-year active defiance. This is a culinary identity that absorbed empires and survived catastrophes to remain unmistakably its own.